So yeah, let's talk Final Fantasy VII Rebirth stuff. And I think the big thing that I want to mention that has popped up over the past like 24 hours or so has been all this discussion of the world map, because the developers have gone into a whole bunch of detail as far as how the game actually works, right? And how like the functionality of FF7 Rebirth is going to hold up. And I think the world and how you how you interact with the world is obviously a big point of concern, because people are saying, oh, it's big zones, oh, it's like scale of, people said it's scale of FF16 zones, obviously like, you know, quarantined off areas. And it's like, I didn't get that impression at all from my end, because even in the small portion of the Junin Harbor, you get access to climb the walls, but they're just not in the demo, you know? So I think one of the most interesting quotes that popped up over the past 24 hours has been this, specifically from the director. Speaking of the world map and that expanded play space, is that something that's all interconnected, or is it more of a world map system where you can travel to different regions at any time? He says, that's a great question, and it's something I've wanted people to ask me. What we've done is taken the world map from the original Final Fantasy VII, but created it all as a one-to-one real scale. So all of the dungeons, all of the cities, everything in that world is now included in the same space. One seamless map. And they give examples later on that you can literally go from one side of the map to the other. You can actually cross the ocean, potentially with vehicles of some kind. You know, even though we're obviously being introduced to a new area in Junon Harbor in the demo, and it looks like it's specifically like filtered zone, a zone that has borders to it. That is demo stuff. And as we were described from the developers, even when we were playing it, yeah, they're like, you could go over there later. And I'm like, oh, really? Like, yeah, you can go up there later. I'm like, oh, it's just not in the demo. And that's what they would explain. It's not here functionally in this demo, because it would just get too big. So seemingly, like, when you go through places, it's not going to be like, oh, I'm going to hit a loading screen here and we load up the next area. No, it's all traversable from one side of the other. Potentially you can run a circle, or not just run and swim a circle across the whole planet. And then some questions started popping up. I started thinking, I'm like, well, if we go back to the footage and I start looking at the footage we have of the world map in here, there's a couple of times that I actually investigate the world map in our footage, and it's right here. And I do some hovering around. So just to get an example of what is explorable in the demo, it's like from here around to here, and then it goes over here and about to there. So it's like this circle that's right here, and even you can go in the water out here. So it's like this chunk right here. But then you can see how much of it is actually up there, how much of it is over here, and how much of it is down south in the Medial Sea. Medial's down here someplace. So there's a chunk, right? And obviously we can't scroll anymore. Like, it was literally preventing us from scrolling across to the other area. So seemingly we're just unlocking this map in like a fog situation. Like, there's like a fog of war across the whole map and you reveal the color of it. To me, it seems like there's obviously big areas like the caves and potentially Junon that you'll go to. But seemingly, like, how much of this is the map, right? How much of this map is actually going to be explorable? And based on what we've seen so far, we get kind of a good idea of it. So check this out. I made this tweet earlier and I got some help from people as far as what we might be expecting from the world map of Final Fantasy VII. So here's a crazy image. This is somebody stitching together the entirety of the world map from my broadcast. And yeah, you get a bit of the scale of this size of the continent. And it actually gets even further down here because of all the islands and everything in the shallow water. So it's like, okay. Interesting thing is that this little island we could visit in the demo. This little area was like that little island we swam to, and then we swam out here and it said you couldn't swim anymore. So potentially it's like, okay, shallow water is potentially visitable. Like green shallow water might actually be visitable in some way. But it doesn't end there, because we got some help, and somebody actually stitched together a cleaner version of the map. Apparently this is from MinMax. So check this out. Here we got what's shown in the demo, and it actually doesn't include even all of this stuff down here, some of the southern continents, right? So we get a pretty clear idea from the size of this continent. And here's what's crazy. We have to start comparing this directly to Final Fantasy VII Original to see, okay, so what are we working with here? And I took a couple of screenshots, and there's a wonderful resource of the original Final Fantasy VII world map. Somebody made this on Sketchfab. It's a 3D model of the FF7 world map. And I can literally, you know, manipulate this and move around this. It works like a normal, like, rendering engine does. So we can sort of get an idea of what we're working with here and zoom in and realize how small Junon Harbor was in the old game. You know, it was ridiculously tiny. So this is a really good resource to give us an idea of what we're looking at, because clearly the map that we're looking at is angled a bit differently, right? Junon is huge now, as it should be. It's actually scaled up quite a bit because it is a giant multi-tiered town. But I think we can start to get a better idea of what we're looking at, because Junon and its area over here are segmented by two huge mountain ranges, right? This kind of blocks you from going immediately to Junon. And there's like a huge river and all this kind of stuff. And then there's the minor cave over here. Can we actually see it? Can we actually zoom in and see it? I think we can. Yeah, there's the cave, right? That's like the side quest cave. The guy that's like sleeping or something like that. So what I'm trying to do is decipher how much of this continent are we looking at in the demo of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. How much of this are we looking at? So we have our Junon continent down here, and we go over here and we can start pulling some conclusions. Clearly, by looking down here, this is supposed to be segueing to the Temple of the Ancients and the islands down below. There's Mediel over there, and this is like the thing called the Mediel Sea. So, you know, we get an idea of this is potentially the Temple of the Ancients island, and we have all these like keys and mini islands all over the place. Cool. I didn't mean to do that segue joke. I'm really sorry. But now we got a good idea of like, okay, so this is likely Temple of the Ancients, and then Mediel might be over here someplace. Maybe this is it? We don't know. But interestingly enough, right, like where and how it could also be this. We don't know how they're utilizing this huge continent, because I'm still a little confused. This is clearly a mountain range over here with some sort of large ocean mass on this side, and this goes up over here. My theory is that if we go back to my my tweet over here, my theory is that above the mountain range is the marsh and like the Chocobo farm, right? If we look at the huge map, to me, it looks like this could be remnants of the marsh up here. All like the inlays and, you know, different rivers and water formations that would possibly go to it. This is potentially the marsh. I don't know if this is a continuation of the ocean. I don't know. But there's another like theory that somebody was shooting out that might be a bit different. So to me, it seems like, right, here's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing this part of the continent right here. I'm seeing this chunk. Like we're looking at the lower half of the eastern continent of Final Fantasy VII Original. It looks like it's the lower half, potentially. But somebody else did promote this idea. And I think there was, we had a response. I got to dig it up. So Michael was on Twitter and he posted this idea. He noticed how the upper right portion, the northeastern part of the continent, kind of resembles the northern east part of the grasslands down to even a little miniature island, right? There's a little beep island up there and a little beep island up there. And if we go to the map and go a bit north, yeah, that checks out. There's a little island up here. So possibly what we're looking at on the big world map extends all the way up here. Potentially this huge landmass goes all the way up, and this is the Chocobo farm somewhere over here? Possibly. We're like geo-guessing Final Fantasy VII. To me, this looked like we're looking at a small, like, half chunk of the continent, but maybe not. This could be that. I think it's one of two things. This water up here is literally supposed to be this, or it's actually the ocean and this is the end of the landmass, right? The question is this crazy water over here? This doesn't really match a lot of stuff on this side. It doesn't really match this river, and the weird thing is that that river is seemingly not in here. It fogs of war everything on the map except like ocean, water, and rivers, you know? So if there's supposed to be a river here, which is actually used to block you off from some questing in the old game, that possibly could be gone now. So here's the weird thing. If this is the full landmass of Final Fantasy VII's Eastern Continent, we should be seeing Midgar somewhere over here, right? In my opinion, Midgar should be like around here because Midgar is kind of close to the ocean. So it looks like this bay up here is possibly either this or potentially, wait, let's go. Potentially something like this? I don't know. It looks like things have been changed around quite a bit. Midgar is visible in the last trailer. Yeah, Midgar is definitely visible in the last trailer from certain locations, but it's not the Junon location, right? Let's go back and look at it. Midgar visible. That's what we're looking for. Go to the big one because this is the upscaled one. So this is the top left part of the map. And to me, I'm seeing like a lot of crazy walls and formations here. I don't know what the heck that shit could be, but I'm not seeing something that could be Midgar over here. It would be very, very, very apparent, right? It's like the fog of war is potentially hiding it. And I guess it would make sense that Junon and Midgar are closer now. If you think of it as like Junon being a port of call for Midgar, that makes a lot more sense that they would get rid of this giant landmass here, right? It makes a lot more sense that they would get rid of all the huge mountains that are blocking the way. So the question is, how much of the continent are we looking at and how much of it has changed? It clearly looks like quite a bit has changed. If this is the same perspective, obviously Junon Harbor is huge now. It's friggin' massive, but I think we're looking at a good chunk of what the landmass is. And even from the little explorable section, which is like this circle down here, if this is the majority of it, and even if it goes up here a little bit, we get a searchable about 1/20th, you know? If you could probably fit about 20 of these circles across even just this landmass. Yeah, Hamaguchi said the map is 1-to-1. That's the thing. But Junon is massive now. And here's the crazier part, is if the Fog of War is covering things, is this just like this chunk right here? Fort Condor's gone. They said Fort Condor moved to an island. So it's my assumption, because I'm pretty sure we see Fort Condor from this lookout point, like literally here. When you start in this area, you can see what is potentially Fort Condor, possibly on like this island or this island out here. Maybe, right? Just maybe. So it's kind of hard to see where they're going with it because it's changed a lot. And I'm trying to get a concept of like, okay, so how big is this place? Like, what are we exactly looking at? And here's the funny part. Here's another couple of examples that Michael posted. This spot looks pretty close to this spot, but again, we're missing this huge landmass that is Midgar to the left. This spot looks like this spot, but we're also missing a huge chunk of the grasslands to the right. So it might actually look like this huge continent has been scaled down quite a bit, right? It looks like it might be not nearly as big as the original by technical comparison, because Fort Condor doesn't even have its own area anymore, which isn't inherently a bad thing, because I don't want a big empty map. I want something that is at least discoverable. Yeah, and here's another one saying that this inlet right here could possibly be that. Yeah, that matches that a little bit. This makes a lot of sense that it could be this. Again, we're missing Midgar. I think the craziest thing is that to get a comparative of how far things are from each other, what the path the player is going to take, that it just goes up here a hell of a lot more, and we just don't get the opportunity to see that much more. So at least from my scan, right, of the map that I had from the demo that I played, this water portion has to extend somewhere. And I'm assuming that they just moved out the river, right? And what river am I talking about? This one. I'm assuming this river is probably going to be a gameplay thing of some kind, more close to gameplay than it was in the original game. That might be holding the player back, and it might be connecting to the sea in some place. But again, it's hard to like look directly at all of this and have it be one-to-one, because it's not actually. All of this extra down here, like, that is not exactly the same. The way all this landmass works down here, this is nowhere close to what we're looking at in Rebirth, you know? So to me, it's still kind of hard to tell how big the scalability is. On this map, where's Nibelheim? You're on the wrong continent. It's like looking at Asia on a map and asking where's Texas. Nowhere close. Completely different landmass. So I think the toughest part about deciphering information as far as how big the map is going to be, how much is explorable, is the fact that Junon Harbor is now scaled up hard, right? Junon is huge, dude. I mean, as it should be. It is a huge map location in FF7, and we don't have the comparison of Junon to Midgar. But here's one proposition I gotta throw out if we're trying to get an example of what's going on. If this map is one-to-one and Junon is of scalable size and location, how big is Junon compared to Midgar? Well, to be real, Midgar's way bigger. Midgar is, Junon is massive. These are like battleships over here and shit, right? I get it. But Midgar is probably like 3 to 4 times bigger than Junon Harbor, at least. Because we can literally see ships, right? Like where they are on the map. Here they are. There's like ships. There's like a docking, like cruise ship, sort of like shipping ship, right? Midgar's huge. Junon should be like 1 Midgar plate, maybe even, right? Junon might be like 8 Midgars all around type of something. That could be a submarine, who knows? So that's like the scalability we're looking at. If the map is of proper scale, that means that what's up here has to be huge, dude. It's gotta be fucking massive. So as much as it does, we can't see how much this map extends up north. I think it does. I personally think this goes way more up north. Yeah, wait a minute. The cannon is the radial length of Midgar. Yeah, that's a good call. You're right. The cannon itself extends all the way through a plate of Midgar. So the cannon, if we just like make a circle around the cannon, we can get an idea of like, because it goes from the middle to the end. Oh, close enough, right? Close enough. The sister ray. Yeah. So you know what? That gives us a pretty good example of how big Midgar is. It's the length of this cannon, potentially, like this big, in a circle. So Midgar is like, hang on a second, gonna start photoshopping. Yeah, that makes Midgar seem kind of small by comparison. It makes Midgar seem a bit smaller than I thought it would be. But Midgar seems effing huge, dude. Like, here's the thing. That I don't know if that's accurate, because this is the size of like a tanker ship, man. And there's like city skylines in Midgar. Midgar's huge. I think the scalability of the sister ray in comparison might be a bit different, because here's what we're looking at. Copy, Photoshop time, Bink, and let's use the other image. So if this continues upward, then potentially, like, if we're looking at the size of this, bink, bink, where's my line tool? Oh God, where's line tool in this version of Photoshop? Where is it? I don't know how the heck the line tool works in this thing, brother. Oh, it's acting as a shape. Can't even move it. Can't even move it. I don't even know how to operate this mother. Give me a brush. Stat. There we go. Possibly this big, right? So if we're using the sister ray as comparison, let's scale it down. Let's be generous, you know? Like, this could be Midgar size, somewhere up here. That can be our comparative Midgar, possibly, which seems kind of small. That seems like it could be even bigger, like up here. So you have to assume that maybe this landmass, like, how far up are we gonna go, dude? Like, it's gonna have to cover at least a good chunk up here. At least a good chunk. So just throwing it out there that, I don't know, man. I'm thinking Midgar's really big. And just for the sake of this spot, are you expecting Junon to be a fully explorable town? Kinda, yeah. I mean, the multi-tiered town that it is, right? I mean, kinda. I kind of am. I don't think this is the entirety of the continent. I think this is about the scale of something we're looking at. So if we are talking, hey, so here is our explorable portion. Our explorable portion of FF7 Rebirth is like, here, let me just paint it in. Is about this. This is what we get access to in the demo. Probably about to here. It's about this. And if that's the explorable, maybe it's even a bit less than that. That's about right. Yeah, that's about right. And this already takes up like, gun takes up 1/10 of a continent. Yeah, I mean, maybe, just maybe. This is about like 1/15th to 1/20th of this southern portion. And not all of this zone is going to be explorable over here. So you're thinking Midgard's just going to have to be way bigger? Possibly, man. That's the thing. How far does this map go up north more? Like, I don't know. Midgard clearly isn't here. And by the comparison of all of the other information we have from the original Final Fantasy VII, right? Like, and even by scale of the OG map, dude, this place is significantly smaller than this place. Significantly smaller. So to me, this isn't the majority of the eastern continent. It's not. And now the question is, how much of this is going to be explorable? Because I do not expect to be able to go into all the mountains. I don't expect to be able to climb up inside and go in everywhere. However, I do think the majority of it is actually going to be explorable because you do see physical barriers, right? There's obviously mountain ranges in this spot. There's obviously physical barriers all over the place over here. There is stuff that's going to prevent you from moving about like all over the place because you can't just climb over mountains. So yeah, this might just be a peninsula of the original map. This might just be like this portion down here. I don't know, right? I don't know. And to me, here's the thing that almost seems unrealistic, right? Where's the golden saucer? That's like asking, that's like looking at a map of Europe and saying, where's New York? It's almost like daunting where it's like, okay, so how big is this? Like where in here can we even infer possibly the Mithril Caves are? Maybe we can actually see where the Mithril Cave entrance is somewhere on this map and get a better idea. Or the Crystal Caves, whatever the heck they end up calling it. There's a little like hole right here. I don't know if that's a artifacting thing. Where do you think the Midgar Zolom swamp is? My guess is that it's like up here. That the swamp is like this area with all this water. That these are like marshes up here, right? That's my theory. That it's possibly, considering we don't see Midgar, it's possibly this, you know? Do we see anything that resembles an entrance to a cave? There's this sort of over here, but that doesn't make any sense. It makes some sense that maybe this area over here could be it. But there's clearly trails and a ton of explorable around here. Like, clearly. If we had some points of comparison, it would help to get some finer details and answers on this. But we do not, right? We unfortunately do not. We don't know where the hell the Crystal Caves are and where the hell Midgar is on this map. The only thing we got, and yeah, what is, what is this? What is this structure in the water? What we really need to see eventually is where the hell's Midgar, right? These got to be Mako pipes or something like that. It's some kind of pipe or some shit. As soon as we get a visual perspective of how big Midgar is, this is my current theory of where and how much is explorable. And maybe this is being a bit too generous over here, but still Midgar has to be big, man. If Junon is this small, Midgar has to be effing big. All things considered, hopefully this gives us a better idea about how big Final Fantasy VII Rebirth's map is going to be. And the more we've been hearing from the developers, the entire map is interconnected. You'll be able to travel from like one side of the map to the other, even including the ocean to a certain degree. It seems pretty wild that all of this is explorable and there's even more above it. That the more above it is actually all of this stuff, including Kalm and Midgar and the grasslands and the Zolom and all that shit. It could get pretty crazy, or it could be, you know, slightly disappointing. And this, all we see here, we visit like 1/20th of it, and that's about it. But even that isn't that disappointing, right? The FF7 seems like it's going to be an absolutely huge game. And even if we look at the world map, dude, the other continent's even bigger, right? The other continent in FF7 actually has significantly more locations and space at its in its location. Like this continent has way more points of interest than this continent. And it's weird that the map is this way because Junon usually faces directly westward, you know? And you end up here after the boat ride. Measuring the demo area with the quest compass, then compare it with other locations shown in trailers. Jeez. Man, that is a crazy idea. Oh, man. I'm gonna let somebody else nerd the F out on that shit. What they said was this. Take the opening area. Let me go to that spot of the footage. The opening area where you first have availability. All right. We're really doing this here?
You could spend 40 to...
Shut the hell up. Are we really doing this here? So from this spot on the map that you pop out on, this cave, there is approximately, to our goal of entering the map, 600 meters. 630 meters from cave. Oh no, are we really doing this? Are we getting really geographical here? Oh man. Oh man. So I think we can actually see, we might be able to actually, hold on a second. I need to see if I have a shot of the map in other footage that has it not fully explored. So there we are. Okay. Right outside the cave is, bam, right there. All right, right there. And this is 600 meters. Is travel distance right here? Oh God, we're doing this. We're doing this. It's happening. We are doing this. Like right here. From here to here, 600 meters, 630 meters approximately. Okay. All right. And do we have a better look at the map from full-size scale? Let me go later in this footage and see. Wait. I just saw something. Hey, there we go. So here is the fully, now you can actually see the map without the fog of war. Here's the explorable part. I don't think I zoom out, unfortunately. I think I only zoom in. I wish I had a zoomed out shot of everything. So there's the Chocobo farm, fast travel to that location. We have anything else that shows the map or map goodness down here? Hey, check this out. Regional data accumulated, intel gathered, and then combat assignments. And I'm assuming that's just map uncovered shit, possibly. I wonder if that's how much of the map you've uncovered or if that is something else. Because if that's like for this specific region, this is the extent of the demo of just the Junon region, right? Oh, and I haven't even gone up here yet. So there was still some parts that were undiscovered from the map. There it is. And there you have it. So regional data accumulated. It's right above the eye. Let's go back to the other one. We're looking. Oh, that is it, dude. Possibly. Yeah, regional data is not all the way up. So it changes. It's definitely, yeah, Junon region, it looks like. Because look, it says in the top left, Junon region, regional data accumulated. This is just for the area outside of Junon. And you collect like 1/6-ish. And this is all that's explorable in the demo. This little bit is the entirety of the demo. So my question is all of this can't be considered the Junon region? Maybe it is, right? Maybe that's what we're getting at. Maybe all of this is the Junon region. Because if we, hang on a second, we got some new stuff to add to this. I am going to go. About right. So we did it. This is the entirety of what is discoverable in the demo of Rebirth. Where's my line? Here is approximately, how many meters was this again? Damn it. This was approximately 630 meters. So Laura Epsom. This is approximately 600 meters. Okay. Yeah. And this is, I'm gonna guess, is just the Junon region. You know, I'm gonna throw it out there. I'm gonna throw it out there that this is just the Junon region we're looking at now because of the map completion thing. Regional data accumulated. No, I'm daft. So look, the regional data accumulated has nothing to do with it. This has nothing to do with fog of war revealing because there's already some revealed here and we went to the island and we got nothing. So this is not an accurate measurement of how big the place is. It's not. This is only good for actual like POIs. Regional data is points of interest. So we can't use that. However, it does, you know, show us that no, dude, you have a ton of things you can do in each area that contribute towards regional data accumulation. Yeah, it's like when you get on hunts and you do wildlife information, that's part of regional data. Yeah. It's not like fog of war. Huh, how funny. So anyway, we got a pretty good idea of how big this goddamn map actually is. A pretty good idea. And I'm gonna call it right now, based on what we have discovered today, that if Midgar is seemingly like up here, it's gotta be at least this size. It's gotta be at least this size, and a landmass has to be big enough for this size because Junon and I'm undercutting here. This is at least the circumference of Midgar, and I think it should probably be somewhere like potentially this big, which almost seems insane. If we're talking about actual time, this almost seems insane. Huh. It won't be to scale, right? It can't be. There's an objective that is 11,017 meters away in the first gameplay trailer. That can't be across the ocean. Yeah, there was something that was 11,000 meters away. Yeah, this bit of the map is only like 5 or 6 kilometers across. So, dang, dude, are we literally talking about it's just this? It's like just this little bit down here? Is that what we're getting at? Because the funniest thing is that we're seeing like land masses and shit that don't line up with that. We're seeing little notes and stuff over here that kind of like line up, weirdly enough. So I'm confused. They clearly changed the size of everything. They clearly moved locations around, but I think we might be actually undercutting the size of the Eastern continent based on this. Because again, if this is our 600 meter comparison of point A to point B, hang on a second. We're looking at trailers again. We're just doing it. We're looking at trailers again.
We're still here at the scene of this terrible disaster.
Yeah, nothing here, right? Nothing here. And even these locations are pretty similar to what's going on here, right? I think we got a kind of a good comparison. Maybe they're doing that with this, right? 500 meters, 700 meters, 1,100 meters away. 1,500 meters away. I'm gonna call it right now. I think this shit is possibly around here. I think that could be this river, because let's look at it. 600 meters, 1,500 meters away is the goal. And mind you, the goal isn't right here. It's getting kind of comparable, right? Like as you come out of a cave. You don't immediately go to Junon, you come out of a cave. That could possibly be, yeah, 1,500 meters would put that at the caves past the marsh. Yeah, possibly. I don't know. There's Midgar literally in the background. So here we are somewhere. Midgar's effing massive. You can see like each one of the stacks and stuff like that. 11,000 meters away. Midgar is approximately 6 kilometers in width, according to specifically the Final Fantasy VII Remake Materia, the Remake Materia Ultimania. So, how much did it say again? 6 kilometers. Oh, it's just, okay. Sorry, chat, I'm from America. So you're telling me, right, what you're telling me is the actual circumference of Midgar to, oh my god. Damn it, you friggin' Photoshop piece of, swear to god the other Photoshops don't act this stupid. Swear to god. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, oh my god. 7, 8, 9. Chat, am I reading this right? Am I reading this right? Really? This is the size of Midgar? This is like the circumference of Midgar? Circumference or diameter? I guess I want diameter, right? Let's read it again. 6 kilometers in width. Yeah, we were given width. I think that's right. Oh, 6 km, not 11 km. Well, no. This is a measure of 600 meters. So 6,000 meters is 6 km. I think we're reading this right. So what I'm trying to say, what the hell? And that's coming from the FF7 like remake shit, right? Are we saying that Midgar? No, dude, this can't be, this map cannot represent this shit. This can't be real. It can't. This can't be real. We were assuming Midgar was going to be this big on the map. It can't be to scale. Yeah, lore size cannot equate to actual game size. This place is so big, it's wild. But here's what's weird. I would be shocked, absolutely shocked if that's the case. Here's what's weird. Midgar, comparatively, in the OG FF7 landmass, doesn't take up that much. Oh my god. Doesn't take up that much. So I don't know. Now here's what's crazy. I went into this trying to solve a potential answer, right? Trying to come up with an answer of, is this the majority of our landmass for the eastern continent of FF7? Now coming to the conclusion that I only think it's just this part down here, just like a small part, to now looking at this shit, being even more bewildered. Is it even like smaller? Is this thing like just this? No effing way, dude. There's no way. Like, there's no way the crystal caves are nowhere on this map. That shit's impossible. That's too big. Is anything in Horizon that big? No. Come on. Where you see Midgar in the trailer, are you on the cliffs above Junon on that map, like near the water? Likely not, right? You're talking about in this trailer when you see Midgar? Midgar by scale. Have no idea where this is. but seemingly is starting to be in the grasslands outside of Midgar, because everything outside of Midgar is dead. We confirmed that in the ending of Integrate, where the way on the way to, oh god, what have I done? The way on the way to Calm is all dead. Nothing lives. The ground is still poached of life. And that's the case for the OG game as well. So I'm assuming that that's just like on the way out here, and that's how far Midgar is away, which would make sense. You're like in this area or up in these mountains or some shit. You got to be in, I don't think we're in the cliffs of Junon. I think we're in these cliffs. Yeah, after Calm, we begin to see green. I think that's this. That makes a lot of sense to me, because you can actually see the walls of Midgar back here in the other reactors. Devs say that Midgar in Remake is 3 times bigger in OG. Wait. No, wait. This information is coming from the Remake material Ultimania. So don't worry. Yeah, we got that. Midgar is like way bigger in this game by comparison. However, we got that, right? The 6 kilometer thing is accurate. Yeah, but how the f does it fit on the map? Let's look at this. It's not Horizon Zero Dawn. It's Horizon, what is it called? Breath of the Wild, Call of the Asshole. What's the Horizon 2? Forbidden West. So from east to west, Horizon's west map is 7.7 kilometers, which is just Midgar? No, that can't be right. Well, shit. I mean, I guess it is, because even right here, you're telling me this is bigger than Horizon? Even in this moment in the trailer? Because this is 11 kilometers. Yeah, wow. Huh. I am so bewildered by this. Like, it can't be that big. You can't have a map that big and that interesting, you know? You just can't. Like, that won't work out. Elden Ring map size. No, because that's the entirety of the map, right? That's like everything. Lore-wise, Horizon is several US states, but for game, of course, it's smaller. Yeah, I mean, I get it, obviously. We're just using the metric as comparison. Here. Yeah, it's square miles. So they're talking about like all of the landmass, not like across. This is making me more confused, right? This is making me even more confused looking at this shit. Definitely doesn't feel that big. I think it really boils down how they populate the area, right? What do they actually do with these locations? Yeah, distance calculations not exactly linear either. Exactly. Yeah, I'm thinking that the 11K thing has to be across the ocean or some shit, right? That's gotta be that, because dude, I don't know. It's gotta be, because this is 10 right here. Oh, I'm sorry, this is only 6,000 kilometers. So if we double this, which is approximately that size, that makes sense that goes all the way over there. Final Fan TV made a remake map based on Ever Crisis. Search the video and scale it with the 600. Final Fan TV made a remake map based on Ever Crisis. Well, this definitely is information. Dude, where the hell is Midgar? Where the is it? Okay, this is huge. This is huge. This helps out a ton, because what lines up here? All right, we're solving shit now, chat. What lines up here? Let's go to our big map. This one. What starts lining up? All the keys and islands down here start to look pretty similar to this shit over here, you know? But where is even... This is new. So there's now like 2 inlets? Oh, this is getting interesting as shit. So no, it's supposed to be that and that. Oh, they changed shit a ton. Dude, where's Junon even supposed to be? Where the is Midgar? Tippy top, East Continent? Hold on. So this has to be a higher resolution of this image. I mean, obviously the brown patch, obviously. Okay, this is higher res.
What's up, Final?
Hello. Hi, how's it going? What is up? That's Midgar?
Here we go. I've placed them on the map. First things first, I've located several different locations here.
What? You're telling me that's Midgar? Oh my god, this I need high res, brother. Ever Crisis world map. Where? Dude, where? What? Huh? Shit ain't adding up. It's like Junon is gonna be this little blip. No. Some of this ain't adding up.
Here's Calm. Calm is right here. Midgar's right here. We all know this, right? But why do I think Calm is exactly right here? We're gonna zoom in and take a look at this screenshot. One thing I want you to note, what I want you to pay attention to, is this little jut out of land right here. That jut out of land. I'm gonna show you that right there. And you can see they're running down this path, exiting Calm, running down this path, heading this way.
Right.
That is, that's where I've gotten them there. But we do have a picture. This is the easiest one to place, obviously.
Is
this
it?
They're right outside of Junon. It almost looks as if they follow this. If they follow this path, they head right into Junon.
I need whatever image you're using, right? I need that high resolution image. What the hell are you looking at? You sent it to me? All right. Hang on a second. Let me check Twitter. I need this shit to be high res. I need like a direct asset rip. Oh, hell yeah, dude. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's not that much better. But it's nice. Oh, yeah, brother. Actually, I don't know. This is still hard to... Where the f is Midgar? Sorry. Where the f is Midgar? Midgar's under there in camo. Yeah, this is like terrain only, right? This is like no discernible locales, even though Midgar would be effing huge. So Midgar is probably at a spot where land is the deadest. So it's probably somewhere over here. Calm is probably not that far away. So it's probably somewhere over here. Where does that put Junon? It feels like this spot. It feels like somewhere right here, at least to me. More west? Well, it's on the it's on the ocean, dude. It's on the ocean. Yeah, Costa del Sol should be right up here, somewhere up here. God. I'm trying to match the maps, dude, okay? I'm trying. Like, it's not easy because what we got going on here and all of its like little adjacent islands is tough. Is this really the highest res image? I'm gonna rotate the map of Ever Crisis. I'm just looking for a higher res version of the Ever Crisis map, if it exists. Because this is still relatively low resolution. It's high res, but maybe it doesn't get higher res than this. Yeah, I mean, here we go. Hold on a second. Yeah, here's how big it actually is, you know? It's not that high res. So, where are we thinking? Right here or up here? Because in the original game, it's next to the river. In the original game, it's relatively close to the river, right in between. So we're saying it's like right in here? Well, that doesn't make sense. It's got to be like somewhere down here because, oh, there's a river right here. I don't know. Maybe here? Yeah, let's see what the guy in the video predicts. Because again, we're not actually seeing things.
It would be angled at a north to the shoreline.
Okay, it's at the Junon.
Fascinating is the
Junon at the tip?
You know, very...
No, this is like barely a connecting island. Really? Out here? Because that's the point towards Costa del Sol. I mean, yeah, but I don't know. To me, the most logical spot looks like around here. I see a river from the game map. The shape matches the tip in the game map as well. The game map as in the OG game map, or talking about ours? Right? So we have like a weird body of water over here. So this like river thing. Here's a clear and defined thing we can get for sides, right? And I'm looking at this. I'm looking at shit, man. Even if we rotate this, hold on a second. Let's rotate this because this would be about, I'm assuming if we're doing correct rotation, it would be about like here. This map is from Ever Crisis, so it's actually related to current FF7. It's actually modern FF7 relevant instead of classic. So let me duplicate this layer. And I'm just going to grab, let's scale up. Where the hell is that inlet, dude? That doesn't make any sense. Uh-oh. 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 Damn, is it really hard to tell? Is it really hard to tell, brother? Like this is not an easy tell. This big crack over here, these little islands over here. Actually, you know what? We need the full picture. I got to go back and get the full picture from my image because these islands down here are very deliberate, right, in size. Check Twitter. This better be good. I'm checking Twitter. Yeah, I mean, this makes sense. I guess considering, yeah, maybe we are saying Junon is all the way out here. I see it by this comparison, you know? I definitely do. I can see that. What is this? What is this image? What the shit am I looking at? What the is this? What's with the sharpening? We're kind of getting there. The weirdest part is this water mass, right? The weirdest part is this like mass of water right here. That doesn't match up. Doesn't look like it matches up. There's like a little lake. And here's the problem. It's hard to tell what the hell scale this map is using. It's really difficult to tell how this shit is discerning its like size relation. I don't know. I had it upside down? What? Dude, the islands aren't there. Like, the islands ain't there. I don't know, dude. I don't know. Because this Junon region that we are seeing seems relatively big, seems comparatively large, even for a big open map. So to think that this is just a small little bit, just a tiny little chunk of this shit, when there's gonna be all this shit and all this shit and all this shit? I mean, I actually now have more questions. Believe it or not, now I have even more questions in terms of the scalability and size of this map. I don't know what we're dealing with here. It's getting scarier because it almost seems like there is too much. Yeah, at this point, it's starting to get kind of unbelievable. 2 discs worth of map. I get it, but it's starting to get relatively unbelievable that it is that big. Closing out all of these. I can't anymore. I can't anymore. I'm just scared now. No, I'm just scared. Here's the thing, like even this little spot you hang out in is like player sized. And this little island you hang out in, this is like the size of the player. Well, here's the only confidence I have. This area, a lot of stuff to do, right? Feeling empty with no content, at least like this chunk of exploration that I did, I went through this 3 times, maybe 4. And each time I was finding new things. I found a chocobo dig spot like down here that had a ruby underneath it. And it was, no joke, like an 8-star rarity crafting item. I was like, yo, what? Excuse me? All these spots are fast travel. These are all fast travel spots. The chocobo spots, these are all fast travel. So even this like chunk, killing all the enemies, killing all the notorious monsters, killing all or gathering the items and visiting the POIs, this is at least 30 minutes of content. And it's not even story. Story stuff happens in here. 4 years of gameplay or some shit? Dude, the hell is going on? Yeah, at this point, I don't know if I can believe any of the scale stuff till I see it. And here's the crazy part. Like, almost all of this is visitable. Like, there's a mountain range right here that goes up really high, but it can't be that big. And all this was obviously explorable, but was off in the demo. This island was explorable. Can you go to these places? You most likely can go to these places. This was like a ship graveyard of some kind. Yeah, this is like the tanker ships I saw. Matches up with the tanker ship size of this over here. So these are actual tanker ships. Hang on a second, I'll show you. And look at them. This game's crazy. This game's gonna be crazy. There's more news and information. Hold on a second. I mean, we're just trying to get an idea of where a spot is. That one from Ever Crisis seems like it's more like geographically accurate, where it is just like a very panned out like space shot of the world while not being actually explorative of obviously. Oh, this is nice. We really get a better idea now what the hell is in here. Yeah, someone saturated the holy dickens out of it, and to be honest, I didn't even think I could do that. It has. Trying to see if we can locate the crystal caves or something like that, but I don't know, man. I don't know. Dude, look at all these like trails all over the place, because this is a map that's like visitable, right? These are clearly roads. This is clearly a road of some kind, but look at all these trails all over the place and shit. Is that the chocobo farm? Question, is that what we're looking at? To me, this very much looks like it could be a chocobo for the chocobo farm. And then you gotta start thinking, is this the crystal caves entrance over here? Is this the water? Right now we're starting to get potentially the size we're thinking of. This potentially is a bit more believable. Here's the thing. Yeah, here's the size of another chocobo farm right here. This is the chocobo farm I visited. It's about that big. I mean, yeah, that's seemingly like about right. This also really looks like the Zolom spot. This really looks like the Midgar Zolom area. Can I get over to like this? Maybe this could be the mountain range? I don't know. To me, that might be a bit more. And here's a lower scale comparison that I think might be a bit more believable. That this area over here is the Chocobo Ranch. And this is approximately the area we go into the Mithril Mines. But we're missing like a big mountain range. Doesn't really seem like it's mountain range-ish. Yeah, I think I have even more questions than before, funny enough, in terms of actual size and scalability. You exit the cave where the path is, saying that this is like the cave exit or some shit? Yeah, maybe, possibly. Yeah, I think this makes more sense, that logically a discoverable portion of the map is this. I don't think we're talking about like Midgar is this big, you know, and it is gonna cover up this much. I don't know about that. I'm thinking that this is actually the grasslands and the Chocobo farm. That this is the Chocobo farm right here. Here's the size of the Chocobo farm that's in the demo comparatively. I think this makes sense. But here's the thing. Yeah, Junon is massive. It's so big. It's huge. It's effing huge. Still a very big map. And this region right here is likely the Junon region. And this is probably like the grasslands region or some shit. I don't know what all this stuff in the middle is. I really don't. Curious what they're trying to set up here. So also 4K enhance Fort Condor? Fort Condor? That's where the bird goes approximately. And there's like water in between it. Yeah, there's water here. So it's out there. Fort Condor is a minigame in the timeline. Though Fort Condor in this timeline is a kind of like a legend. It is a island that had a reactor that a condor now roosts on. Ooh, people finding shit. This big, yeah, that makes sense. So you're telling me this big platform, this like satellite platform, is that or potentially that and all this? Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And where does this 1,300 meters? Yeah, this stuff is starting to make a lot of sense. Where this would be, the Shinra 5G tower is like right up here. Possibly. Maybe it's smaller. Maybe it's this. Well, here's the thing. I actually know there's one of these towers down here. Yeah, there's literally one of these towers right here. And it's pretty small. So that might be it right there. And if we're counting, how many meters? How many meters was it? 1,353 meters to objective? Where's our line? Yeah, because the objective wouldn't be here or here. It might be somewhere over here because you come out of a cave. So yeah, that's starting to line up. 1,300 meters. All right. You're right. You found it. You found it. This guy found out where this location is. Pretty good call. It's right here. And the meters actually line up to where you'd be going to the next spot on the map. It's like this thing. So there's a size comparison, right? This. I'm starting to think 11K is across the ocean. Yeah, I am. I'm really starting to think 11,000 meters, that shit is across the ocean. That's the scale we're talking about. That's where I'm trying to like get like some comparative. It's like, so how big are we talking here, dude? 11K is across the goddamn ocean. Because that's a long way. That's a lot of map to traverse. We need more information, right? We need more effing information.
Hey, you don't have to use VHS.
Oh,
you don't need that from VHS is not necessary. So it's modern.
All right,
You can use
confirmed.
Smartphones to
It's
switch
not that
parties.
big.
And
Confirmed.
the game,
It wasn't as crazy as we expected. We saw it.
We'd like to
Confirmed.
look at it. There will
It's
be an
big,
encounter
but
with
it's not
enemies.
insane.
Simulation
Still
will be
huge.
along the
Like,
road
it's still
in front of you.
massive, but
Some
it
enemies
wasn't,
in
like,
front of you, so we'd like to explain
obscene.
battle system.
Hang on a second. Just for comparative. Dude, that wasn't even on here, man. Because it's clearly like this spot, right? It's still massive, right? It's still super big because there's still more up, right? We're actually missing a big chunk down here. And yeah, we guessed that this was the Chocobo farm because of all like the trails. We got that right. Here's the thing. There's a lot going on up here too, right? Up in this area to the left, there's a lot going on because it's the upper part of the continent. So they've definitely shifted stuff around quite a bit. And the area surrounding Midgar, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I think like the Midgar area is still missing, right? Midgar still, I don't know. Maybe we can't even get back to it. I don't know. You'd have to wonder if they're going to even let us traverse that area. This was insane. Like, I don't even know what to say, dude. Already, I thought what they were giving us in the Junon area was a lot. I'm like, dude, there's a lot to do out here. It's not like, you know, a ton, but still, I spent a lot of time scouring this area and trying to find things. The thing I compare that to is the fact that how much stuff can you actually do in the environment, right? What is the environment just empty? Because now we have to start comparing the previous efforts of Final Fantasy games. You have to start looking back at Final Fantasy 15 and Final Fantasy 16. Games with absolutely massive areas. 15's areas are huge. There's just so much, but you do nothing in them. You just run across them. And that's kind of like the scary part where we were looking at the size of the map and we were wondering if it was way bigger than it actually was. In Final Fantasy 15, you do so much running and traversing and driving across terrain that has nothing in it. It's honestly way too realistic. The most you get is engagement-wise, like some items on the ground every once in a while, a chest here and there, and then obviously fishing. And that's literally it, dude. And it's like, dude, you start to feel it. You're like, there's so much space in between these places. Can I just go there? Are there other continents? Yes. And islands, like several. There's a lot. And like the ocean and shit. There's technically 3 other continents of FF7 if you consider Wutai a continent. It probably is. But there's we're looking at from this one, this is the eastern continent, right? And then you have the northern part of the eastern continent, which we're not really seeing a ton of. And you also have the islands to the south, like the Medialcean Islands. You have all the other, there's tons of small islands, like Bahama Islands all over the place in the OG game. And then obviously the even bigger continent is the west continent. Even bigger. There's even more shit all over the place. So this is the continent we're talking about. And it looks like we're taking this chunk, right? This whole chunk right here is what that map is what they were showing. This whole thing right here is this thing, but we're missing like all this stuff. We can't see any of it. I feel, Jorge, if you're here, I'm sorry, brother. He was working on a video of me exploring the world map as we were trying to decipher this and figure out, is this just one portion? Here is the what we were thinking, that this whole part of the map right here, because of the size of Junon, was actually just this, like this piece right here. We thought it was just that right before the stream, dude, and we were like, is this thing gonna be that big? It's not. Now we have a much better understanding. This is a lot more realistic, because really, if it was this big, I start to get some FF15 vibes. There is honestly no way you can fill that map up with that much stuff to do. No game is like that. That's just too much. So I was getting a little worried, you know? So here's the thing. We got what is technically explorable that we're seeing is this entire chunk on the map over here, but we're not seeing any of this part. You cross the ocean from here to here in the OG game, and here's the other continent. And this continent is just, I'd say, way more dense. Like, if we're talking about actual visitable locations in this one, it's like Midgar and Calm and the Chocobo Ranch and the Mithril Caves and Fort Condor, Junon, done. There's a single map cave right here. So there's like about 5 or 6 spots that are actually visitable, right? The Midgar Zalem is technically just in the world map, right? Technically. So first continent doesn't have that much. It kind of goes by pretty fast. Now, the crazy part is what happens over here. Costa del Sol, this is Mount Corel, biggest dude, which leads into Corel back here. Corel leads directly to the Golden Saucer, which never made any sense, right? This never made any sense how this is going to that. So I'm curious where they're going to put the Golden Saucer in the new one. Golden Saucer also leads to a prison, which is technically here as well. And then prison's got a bunch of stuff. There's also the wastes around the prison. And then you have Gongaga. You have Cosmo Canyon after that. You have Nibelheim. Nibelheim's huge. And then you have Rocket Town. So there is just way more like geographic locations in this side of the map. Just way more. And then there's a bunch of other shit. There's hidden caves. There's like mystery islands and stuff. Things that you can get to, but have secrets all over them. There's like Cactuar Island down here. There's also a weapons guy. And then if we talk about like other continents, this is Wutai. This might not be accessible in this game, but this place definitely is. Here's another one. We're going to be visiting up here as well, at least for a chunk of it. Here's what I was saying. If we see snow, if we do see snow in FF7 remake trailer anywhere, if we see Aerith trekking around in snow of any kind, that means that they have moved this event location. They have moved City of the Ancients, which is right here. So if we see snowboarding, if we see any of that shit, it means that they have switched the order of events and locations. So yeah, it's just crazy. And what they're showing off already is like a pretty big map. What's happening now is still a decent chunk. Like, it's still a lot, dude.